Hello, my name is Andy Baker. I'm president and owner of AndyMark. I'm going to give you a short presentation through a PowerPoint, just some historical things, and I'm going to show you um, what a Saturday morning looks like at AndyMark with no one here. I'm going to show you our shop. We'll walk through first choice pick area. We'll go into the pack and pick assembly or pack area, and then we'll get into some new products we're coming out with.
Streaming for this event is brought to you by First Updates Now. We'd like to thank the following fun sponsors. SolidWorks is free for first teams. Over 80% of U.S. engineering schools and 370,000 plus companies use SolidWorks to design great products. SolidWorks can help you design a great robot on desktop or on the cloud. Go to solidworks.com/first to register your team. At Kettering University, over 30% of the student population was in high school robotics. These same students have received a portion of over $7 million in scholarships. Scholarship applications for FIRST students are now available. Get more information at kettering.edu/first.
I'm going to give you some history, a tour, and some new products. I would not be able to do what I do at AndyMark without the support of these four women, my wife, and my three daughters. They're awesome. I love them very much. And one of the things we start with, we have a weekly meeting on Tuesday mornings, and we start our meeting with this statement. AndyMark strives to develop innovative products and outstanding service while inspiring our customers and making a positive impact in our community. That's been our mission statement since like 2 years after we started the company, and we haven't edited it, changed it whatsoever. It hangs up on the wall here, and I think I realize I need to make this a little more public these days. Just we're proud of this statement. We're proud of what we do. If you don't know, Mark Coors was my partner for 12 years, many great years with Mark, and sadly he passed away in 2020. A lot of the designs we have and we still use are designed by Mark. Our history really started with FIRST. This timeline kind of shows us, both Mark and I, kind of seeing what happened when FIRST started, because the company that we worked for, Delphi, was the main sponsor of one of the initial teams in FIRST in 1992. So I was in the right place at the right time. I was able to see FIRST that first year when they drove around on tethers and they drove on corn. It was pretty crazy. I hopped on Technocat's robotics team 45 in 1998 while I was still at Delphi, and then started AndyMark in 2004. Notice there's an overlap between Delphi and AndyMark. So I worked at both companies for 3 years, and we worked out of our houses. I ended up working with some people to start Cybertooth Robotics Team 3940 in 2011 into the season of 2012. By that time, we moved into a small warehouse here in Kokomo, Indiana. We moved to a new, bigger warehouse, which you'll see on my tour in 2018. And just this past year, I hopped back on Technocats as a mentor, because Cybertooth is very healthy and really doesn't need as many people to mentor, so Technocats did. So I'm happy to be back over on Technocats, where I learned a lot as a younger mentor. Some of our early products at AndyMark were the AM shifter, top left. Top right was the battery cable. That product number is AM-0009. That shows it's pretty early, and we still sell a lot of battery cables to this day. Bottom right were some high traction wheels, and we called them trick wheels, but they were Omni wheels at the time. Back in 2004, 5, 6, no one was selling Omni wheels like worldwide. Maybe one company, Cornylac, they were doing some conveyor Omni wheels, but as far as driving wheels for robots, you couldn't find them commercially available really anywhere. So we were one of the first places to make them available with a hole pattern and a bearing board that you can drive a robot with. One thing I'm proud of with our company, most of our sourcing is done here in Indiana. We outsource a lot to small businesses here locally for molding, metal fab, CNC machining, water jet, that kind of stuff. We still do some things in-house, obviously, but we started the business really with outsourcing everything to local suppliers. We source some items to the rest of the U.S. About 30% of what we source is, Wisconsin, Michigan, a little bit Illinois, a lot of Midwest companies. And then about 10% we send over to China, Taiwan, like bearings, fittings, motors, some of the gear motors, especially the small ones for FTC, those types of things. So, okay, I'm going to stop sharing. All right, let's go back over here. Hopefully you guys can see me here. So this is our machine shop. This is air conditioned in the summer because it's isolated from the rest of the warehouse. Way over here, we have a CNC router that runs probably every day. We're kind of wearing it out. The guys here are wanting to buy a new CNC router. This right behind me is a CNC saw, like an automated saw. We got it propped up there so it doesn't sag down. We've got a brand new cold saw this past week, 2 weeks ago. We've got a Haas VF4 and a Doosan lathe over here, right there. That's about almost 2 years old. We've been running it a lot lately. I think the Haas, all it does is kind of odd. Really, the most of the things that it makes are for FRC field perimeters, FTC field perimeters, and FLL tables. So all the stuff that people play on and within, a lot of those things are made on this Haas. You can see right here we've got extrusions ready to go for FRC perimeter pieces to go in and out of that Haas. So now we're going to get kind of crazy. I'm going to walk through the warehouse. I have my laptop here perched on this cart. So if you like roller coaster rides, you might like this. But we're going to go for a walk. Bear with me. So we're walking out of the shop, out of the machine shop. We're going to go over into the first choice pick area. If the lights turn on here, hang on. Lights are motion activated. Okay, so this is the first choice pick area. I'm just going to walk down the aisle. So when we get first choice orders, we'll pick them off of these shelves. So there's things like Teflon tape, really important stuff, right? Let's see. Other fun stuff like little fans, high-tech servos, these old D-Link routers. There's like 200 or 300 first choice items. The first choice items come to us as donated items from companies who want to support FRC teams. So we donate the facilitation and distribution of those items. So that's our inventory. That's one aisle of our inventory warehouse. Over here behind me is our pack area. So when we pack an order, we go into this area. When we pick an order over here, we'll pack it over there. And we have like 6 or 7 pack stations during September when FTC is pretty busy, and also during January, February when FRC is busy. These pack stations will be full of people. This year we're running 2 shifts in January and partly into February. We want to get orders out. Man, I'm dry. We're trying to get orders out as fast as we can to all you folks. Okay. Also, let's see. Let's go over here. Kind of an odd space here, but we've actually got a team that builds right here. This is Cybertooth's build area, and they build here, and they come in after hours and they build robots to play FRC. There's a field out here for our engineering staff and also local teams to use. You can see the upper hub right there, and there is there's the hanger right there. Anyway, cool stuff. Now we're going to go into the office area. Open these doors. We've got electrical engineering in here. We've got mechanical engineering in there. You can see, I'm not really sure who that is. I think it's a leftover from Halloween. Also notice here that we're starting to distribute soapbox derby parts. So if you know anybody in soapbox or wants to get into soapbox derby, you can buy parts through us. Woo. Okay. So that was my quick tour. We're going to go into our media room now that I have some products laid out on a table. Hopefully you're not too dizzy here. You still with me?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Any questions, ask anytime.
Let's pull this a little closer, maybe. Okay. All right. So this is where we film like how do I videos. We have like 42 how do I videos on our YouTube channel. If you have a question and you want to see a video on how to do something, check out our YouTube channel. A how do I video might help you figure out how to tap a hole or how to assemble a gearbox or whatever. Check out our YouTube channel when you get time. So new products. Let's talk about that. So we've got a lot of new products we just released through our winter, getting ready for 2023 product release. One of the things that we released that we're still waiting on some parts for, we tried to get it out for FTC, but we're really proud of this new 4-inch macadam wheel. Maybe not the exact product for FRC, but if you look over into FTC, my gosh, everybody's using macadam wheels, and this is our latest, greatest upgrade for ball bearing roller macadam wheels. This is a 4-inch version. I'm really proud of the guys and everyone who made this. It's really super. Other new products. I'll start. Yeah, I'm dry. I'll start small. We got some new fittings, like just new simple fittings. You see these in the industry, but they're not as available from some of the suppliers in first. So just simple little fittings that might help you get your pneumatics in order. This one's kind of cool. It's a 1/8 inch NPT on one end, and it's like a four port press in on the other end. Just some cool new fittings. We've got, these are our prototype production versions of all of the different gobs of different collar clamps. So we've got probably 20 different or close to 20 different types of collar clamps. And we're actually selling anodized aluminum collar clamps too. So gold, green, I think purple, blue, red, lots of different colored collar clamps from AndyMark. Those are coming online very soon. Speaking of colors, we're offering, this is kind of a weird thing, but we're taking a survey right now to see who wants uniquely colored compliant wheels. So they're all going to be 35A durometer compliant wheels, 2 1/4 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch, and they're going to have white cores, not this black, but you can have a white, you can have a purple, not purple. You can have a red, blue. Those are standard colors in different durometer of 35A. So custom color compliant wheels. We've got an upgrade to our simple box. So now we have all kinds of different shafts coming out of the simple box. We actually made it a little bit wider. Sorry. We are now a distributor for Swerve Drive Specialties. Very, very popular Swerve module. This is the company's name is Swerve Drive Specialties, and we have we're going to receive another batch of these within the next week or week and a half. So look forward to more of these becoming available at AndyMark. Check them out there. We've got a new bevel box for FTC or for FRC, but a small bevel box for Neverest sized motors. Our engineer made a case to go over it, but you can see there's nice little bevel gears inside of here. This is really nice and compact. Let's see some of the other little things. Okay, so that's all the little things I've got. Oh yeah, we got an upgrade to a supersonic slim gearbox. We have plates, we have gears. So check out the supersonic slim gearbox. We have I think I saw some of the other first centric suppliers come out with stuff like this too. It's seriously coincidental, but we have a compact linear slide, compact elevator, not compact linear slide, compact elevator system, and ours focuses on using cam followers. So a cam follower is a heavy load bearing that has a stud coming off of it, and it can handle a lot of load. It uses needle bearings inside of it. So check out the cam follower based compact elevator that we have. A lot smaller than other elevator systems that we've had in the past. And the pieces that are used to hold the bearings are like this. Pretty simple stuff. Really, the last thing is we came out with a West Coast drive. Let me see if I can show it to you. It's a chain and tube, cantilevered wheel. So the wheels are just, you can pick your own wheel out here, high grip wheels or performance wheels or whatever. And you got a hex shaft here, and you really have options of having chains on the outside, like shown here, or you can have a version that has the sprocket on the inside, so the chain is on the inside. There's benefits of either way. Obviously, you can get to the chain really easily out here. You might want to do that, or you might want to hide your chain inside the tube, and as long as your chain loop is right, it's going to be good to be inside that tube, so you don't have to worry about it. You can mount whatever kind of AndyMark gearbox to power it. It's powered on one of these middle two wheels. There's a drop center. I think it's 80 thousandths of an inch for the two wheels in the middle, and we're pretty excited about offering this 2x1 West Coast Drive style product. Gosh, I went through those things pretty fast. So I am open for any kind of question, product, facility, history, whatever you want to hear. I'm open for questions.
Questions.
You won't probably hear you, but I can.
What does the goat symbolize?
We already talked about that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but like.
It was simply just a play on words from that 2015 year.
It does that.
That's all it is.
Oh, okay. I thought it.
Back there.
How much weight can the elevator support?
Ooh. How much weight can the elevator support?
I'm sorry, what?
How much weight can the elevator support?
I don't know. I think I would refer to our product page. So go to the AndyMark.com, check out compact elevator, and on the product page, if it doesn't show it there, we'll have to update that. But I know it's the thing that's going to break on these types of things will probably be your powertrain. The structure here is super robust. We've got. Yeah. So I don't know the answer to that. We can come up with a solution for what the load should be, and we'll post it on the product page if it's not already there.
All the way in the back.
How is the drivetrain? How is the elevator powered?
How's the elevator powered?
Like, no.
Because it should be back there.
We don't have a product that's powering the elevator. But it would would not be a spring extend. It would be a pull. It would be pull up and a push down. So again, look at the product page. I don't know exactly what our plan is with powering the elevator.
Over there, right. Yep.
What's your favorite type of drive shaft or train? Drivetrain. Thank you.
Your favorite type of drivetrain?
Huh. Gosh, for the teams I've been on lately, I think the past 5 or 6 years we've used the kit chassis, and we have used an 8-wheel drive version of the kit chassis. We take the kit chassis, we upgrade it by putting 2 more wheels on it. And the reason why I like that for our team at that time is that we got done with our drivetrain really quickly. So for FRC build season project management for our team, what's worked is the kit chassis. That's between Cybertooth and Technocats the last couple of years. Now this fall, Technocats has been working on a swerve drive modules along with a lot of other teams. So we're working on this. We don't have our software done yet. If we get it done, that might be my favorite drivetrain for this year. I think I've had this question. I'll answer it a little bit differently. Historically, I think my favorite drivetrain has been Mecanum. Granted, it's not that competitive to use Mecanum in FRC. There's a few teams that do well. Like one of the teams that won our district championship in Indiana was a Mecanum wheel team last year. But you don't see many Mecanum wheel robots on Einstein and such. But my point is with that, AndyMark, I'm really proud of the fact that AndyMark was the first company that sold a commercially available, affordable Mecanum wheel back in 2006, and we really started the trend of making Mecanum wheels available. And if you look at FTC, almost every team uses the Mecanum wheels. There's lots of Mecanum wheels on toys now. There's lots of different companies that make Mecanum wheels, and I think as far as favorite and our impact, I think I'm pretty proud of the fact that we started the trend of making Mecanum wheels available and accessible to hobbyists and robot competition teams.
Right there.
Have you seen a jump in demand or excitement for swerve drive after the pandemic, especially this year?
Yeah, I think what was it, out of the 24 teams that were on Einstein last year, I think 22 of them had this exact sort of, this brand of swerve drive. So yeah, we've had a swerve and steer model available off the shelf from AndyMark with it was our design since 2014, and we've sold a lot of those over the years, but we haven't seen an increase really until this. Well, the market has shown an increase this past year. You see that Rev came out with a new one. West Coast Products has had a swerve drive module that's been out for a couple of years, and there's a lot of great designs out there. So they're becoming more available. They're easier to do mechanically because the mechanics are already done for you. There's still some difficulty with software, but the teams that don't know how to do swerve drive are becoming the runway for them to learn how to do it is a lot shorter than it used to be many years ago. Mechanically, I think, and software, because there is a lot of software sharing these days with regard to swerve drive. So yeah, there's a demand, and also there's a reaction from the community to fulfill that demand.
So the game doesn't allow it when it has different obstacles on the field. That's my take.
Yeah, I think if you talk, everybody kind of has their own opinion regarding, is this, like, if you look at any given game, is this a swerve drive game or not? I think everybody has their own flavor and opinion about what sort of drive. So yeah, your team's going to have to decide that. But I don't recommend getting into swerve drive during and developing it during the build season. I think you already need to have some things in place and maybe hopefully have it driving around before you get into at least a concept driving around, so you know what your challenges are before you get into your build season. If you're in your build season and you want to create a new drivetrain or build a drivetrain, I still go with keep it simple. Keep it as simple as you can.
Yes.
So why did you start AndyMark?
Could you repeat that, please?
So he wanted to ask, why did you start AndyMark?
Ah, okay, good. Okay. Like I said, I started on Technocats in 1998, and we actually had a lot of success. We won the national or the world championships in 98. We were runner up in 99. We had some success 2000, 2001. In the summer of 2000, I started Technocats started putting out designs, like mechanical designs that worked for us, and teams started using those designs all over the nation. And actually, I remember getting a phone call from a friend in Hawaii, and they said, "Hey, I like your design. Our team likes it, but we really would like to just buy it from you because the only CNC mill on Oahu is at Pearl Harbor, and the naval base doesn't always let us get at the CNC mill to make the parts. So could you just sell me that gearbox design that we like?" And so the idea came not only from him, but other people said, "Gosh, we could sell these parts." There weren't aluminum sprockets available for teams. There weren't nicely sized planetary gearboxes for teams. There weren't, heck, I think before we started, like these 6-inch wheels, there wasn't a wheel that had a hole pattern. You had to figure out how to drive a wheel with other things besides hole pattern. So there were a lot of little things that really needed to be fixed and taken care of within first. So I asked a couple people, a couple other mentors on Technocats. I asked 3 guys. One of them said no. One of them said yes. That was Mark. And then we started, actually asked the school, the career center at the school, to see if they'd make parts for us and they could partner with us. The school said, no, we want to stay out of that business. So Mark and I started making parts. We actually were the supplier of the gear within the kit of parts chassis gearbox that first year. So we worked with IFI to supply the gear to them. They supplied the gearbox to the community as a kit of parts gearbox. And that was one of the big projects that helped us take off. But yeah, our first year was pretty small. We worked out of our houses, and I worked on AndyMark at night, and I would work my day job during the day. And the reason why we started the company really was to make it easier for teams with low resources to be competitive. It was really, really bad to watch a team with almost zero resources, or a well-meaning teacher and students, maybe a parent or two who wanted to do well, but they had a hard time competing against the very, very high resource teams. And the gap between the haves and the have-nots was huge. So I believe the main reason why we started AndyMark was to increase the parity, to lower that gap between the teams that didn't have high resources compared with teams that had the high resources. So it helped level the playing field across first.
Andy, we have a question in the chat about the supply chain. Can you just briefly explain how the supply chain is going to be shaken out this year in 2023 for supplies?
Yeah. In some aspects, supply chain is getting better, but still there's some hurdles you got to get through. Obviously, since COVID hit, supply chain issues have been tough. I mean, everybody knows that. Obviously, there's chip shortages for automotive, and those same chip shortages cause vendors within FRC and the FIRST community to have a hard time supplying electronics to teams from Falcons to Neo or Spark Maxes and those types of things. even some of the things that we have, a few things that we design that have chips. We don't do as many electronic things, but electronics are still a hard time to. Electronics are still hard to get. I think they're getting a little bit better, but it's going to take a few more years for electronics to catch up. I think. Oddly enough, like here in the Midwest, there's a huge chip fabricator going in Columbus, Ohio, and there's a big one coming in West Lafayette. So it's taking us a few years, domestic manufacturing to catch up. But I think there's some efforts being made to make chips here in the U.S. to have more control. One of the things that was surprising during COVID was it was really hard to get extrusions. So square tube, churro, our peanut extrusion, 2x1 tube, all those things were hard to get. And so we had really long lead times on some extrusions, but now those lead times are back to normal. And we're like, if we place an order for extrusions, we can get that stuff within probably 40 to 60 days. So that's a great improvement. We also saw during COVID 2020, 21, sheets of plastic were sometimes hard to get. We had a shortage of ABS sheet for FTC a couple years ago, and now sheets of plastic are easier. Plastic pellets are still kind of hard to get, so you got to budget when you're going to buy pellets. And like we use a lot of plastic for polycarbonate cores and the urethane bodies of things. Some ABS, but you just have to plan farther ahead. For us, we have to plan farther ahead to get our raw materials and such. Shipping costs were way high, and they've come down a little bit, but they're still pretty high. So we have to. There's been times when we airship some things in from overseas to get them here in time, but it's just so expensive to airship things in. So we're airshipping a partial, like right now we're airshipping collar clamps in because we don't have them in stock, but we're not shipping the whole order because it's just so ungodly expensive. And people have other options with collar clamps. These aren't a make or break thing. They're kind of nice to have. So yeah, shipping decisions are impacted by supply chain issues, but I think that things are getting better, much, much better than they were in 2020 and 2021.
Are you waiting back there? Yeah, go ahead.
When will the elevators be for sale?
When will the elevators be available, Andy?
I think it's probably within. I'm trying to think what parts. I'm seeing a lot of parts that are in stock. I don't foresee the elevators being out of stock for more than a week. So within the next week, expect it to be available. Probably. Yeah, we were waiting on these cam followers, and I think they just came in yesterday. So we have to do a quality check on them. We have to receive them in. So it should be pretty soon. It could be the cam follower that was the thing that we were held up on, but that shipment just dropped, and those are coming in from China. So yeah, they should be pretty soon. Like no more than a week.
The flipped Neo gearboxes that you talked about for your West Coast drive, are those only going to be for the West Coast drive, or is that going to be possibly used for Evo Slim on a kit of parts drivetrain or anything like that?
I think once those become available, they're going to be able to be on the AM145. I think. I'm not 100% sure, but what we try to do at AndyMark, we use all of our gearboxes, shifters, those types of things. We try to make those pretty usable on any kind of drive that we have. So I'm sure there's exceptions, but I remember when we released the Evo shifter, people asked, well, does it fit on the AM145? Heck yeah, it does. So yeah, our designers are really good at making sure things fit on all kinds of different drivetrains. So I do believe that.
When do you expect that to be more info given out on that?
Over the next week, I think we did release some information on this Supersonic Slim and I think that the Flip Neo version of the Evo Slim is coming out soon. I don't know which parts we're waiting on for that though. I know less about that availability, but obviously we want to get this out before or right at kickoff at the latest.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
How hard is the West Coast Drive to build?
Let's know how hard it is to build a West Coast drivetrain.
I think it's pretty easy. The shafts are just a couple of key things are there's no this is your chain length here, and this is a bearing bore that's set. The location is set. We've decided that this chain is short enough, and also especially if you put the chain inside the tube, the chain can't jump over the sprocket edge. So my point is, you don't have to deal with a chain tensioner or a bearing block. The bearings are in the tube, and it's really simple just to put the hex shaft all the way through. You can see on this side there's a collar clamp on it. On the other side, it's just a tapped hole with the wheel. So it's pretty simple. You don't have to worry about bearing blocks, tensioners, none of that stuff. So it's pretty simple. I think the hardest thing would be if you choose to have the chain inside the tube. That's going to take some effort, but we will provide assembly instructions on what we think the best way is to get that chain in the tube. That's probably one of those how do I videos that's coming soon.
What is your most recommended sort of wheels, or
Drivetrain wheels,
which
or
ones are most used?
you talking about drivetrain wheels or just compliant wheel types?
Okay, so drivetrain wheels, I'll talk about those. It really depends on how much maintenance you want to do to your robot during events or during your competition season. If you want to have something on your robot and you want to put it on there and kind of forget about it, I would really recommend these white high durometer, high grip wheels. They will last you probably through a season if you have two or three events. If you're past the third event, you might need to change your wheels out. But if you don't mind changing wheels and keeping wheels fresh and keeping the best traction wheels on your robot, I would give you two options. One, pick a lower durometer, high grip wheel that's either blue or black. I think the blue are the most tacky. So the higher friction means they're going to wear down quicker. So like a blue high grip wheel might last 1 day at an event. A black high grip wheel will last probably one competition. That's what we ran last year. So our kids changed out the wheels about once every competition weekend. Like on Thursday night or Friday night at the event, they would change out the wheels. If you really want to get higher traction and a much like an aluminum billet type rim, we have performance wheels. So it's an aluminum wheel with a riveted on tread, like a rough top tread, and those do give higher traction, but they take more maintenance to repair the tread, and they're also more expensive. So I personally like on my team last year, we ran black high grip wheels. They give really good traction. We change them once an event, and that seems to be good for our kids.
Over here.
Is there any plans to expand or AndyMark to expanding the manufacturing of swerve drive specialties, swerve drive module?
Could you repeat that?
You want to know about expanding the swerve modules?
Oh,
Is AndyMark going to manufacture the swerve drive modules or any plans to?
They sell the one version of the swerve module.
Yeah.
so
You
is the
asking-
question, are we going to design a new swerve module? Is that the question?
No, is there any plans to have you guys manufacture the swerve drive?
Oh, to manufacture it instead of they're a seller of it.
Okay. So the guys that make this and design this are very proud of their designs. It's his name is Patrick. He's a mentor on and an alumni on Team Night 2910 Jack in the Bot out in Seattle. He does a very good job designing and manufacturing. Right now, they want to make sure they have their arms around all the manufacturing of this. So all we are doing is distributing. If he wants us to help manufacture, we are willing to help. But right now, he wants to control all the manufacturing and sourcing of these parts. I'm not going to step on his toes and say anything different. So I'm going to support Patrick and Sword Drive Specialties to continue to be the manufacturer of this. He is ramping up his manufacturing. He bought new machines this summer. He hired some staff. So that's going to improve, and it'll be neat to see what they have to do. We at AndyMark are pretty proud. I'm pretty proud of working with some small businesses like Patrick's Sword Drive Specialties. Over the years, we've helped out a lot of other businesses by distributing their parts here at AndyMark, even before they could sell them themselves. We did that with West Coast Products. They sold parts through AndyMark before they started selling their own products. We did that with Rev. They sold products through AndyMark before they started having their own e-commerce. And we were early, us and IFI both sold parts for Cross the Road Electronics. I think IFI was first with a couple of small parts from Cross the Road. But early on, when Cross the Road got bigger, they depended on us for all their e-commerce. And then they now can sell through their own site, obviously. So whatever Patrick wants to do, I'll support him. And I'm happy to be a distributor for their products.
All right, we got about a minute left in this session. Is there any last questions? Go ahead.
Okay, does any chain or any sprockets, any pulleys or rope come with the elevator? And is it a 2-stage or a 1-stage elevator?
It could be a 2-stage. It could be 1-stage or a 2-stage. So both of those are defined on the website. So you're saying you want a powertrain solution for this compact elevator. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll convey that to our staff and see what we come up with. I don't know if we're having. I'm not the designer of this, so I'll figure out what our plans are, and I don't know exactly what they are right now. So sorry to not have more information with that specific thing.
So is there any recommendations on the website of using chains or sprockets versus like cable or anything else on that?
I think there will be. Yes, we did recommendations for the Climber in a Box last year, so we realized that teams do want those types of recommendations. I just don't know. I don't know exactly what's on the website with regard to that specific thing. So bear with us, and I'm hearing you loud and clear that you want powertrain solutions for the compact elevator. I got it.
Any last minute questions or else this session's over? Go ahead.
Is the elevator really just a coincidence?
Last year he knocked it out of the park with that Climber in the Box, didn't he? We don't know. He doesn't know. He might get lucky again.
I mean, what this is a more compact version of an elevator that we already had. So we had a bearing based elevator using 2x1 and 1 1/8 inch ball bearings. That's a product we sold a lot of in 2015, 16, 18. Not 15. 2018, 2019, we sold a lot of that product. We just thought it was too big and we wanted a smaller version. So it was an upgrade on an existing product, really.
Any last words, Andy, or else we really appreciate your time this morning joining our session.
Good. I hope this was good for all you folks. I really had a good time up in Minnesota last year. Hopefully I can get up there in the future. So have a great rest of your day and have a wonderful build season and competition season this year. We'll hopefully see you in Houston.
Streaming for this event is brought to you by First Updates Now, who'd like to thank the following fun sponsors. At Kettering University, over 30% of the student population was in high school robotics. These same students have received a portion of over $7 million in scholarships. Scholarship applications for FIRST students are now available. Get more information at kettering.edu/first. SOLIDWORKS is free for FIRST teams. Over 80% of U.S. engineering schools and 370,000 plus companies use SOLIDWORKS to design great products. SOLIDWORKS can help you design a great robot on desktop or on the cloud. Go to solidworks.com/first to register your team. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on our new videos. Keep the conversation going and provide your input to our content. Watch our live shows at twitch.tv/firstupdatesnow. Join our Discord at discord.gg/firstupdatesnow and check out Fun FTC on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and First Updates Now on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter.